It was a quiet morning at a gas station in Virginia, just a few miles from a military base. The air was crisp, and the hum of idling engines blended with the occasional chatter of early commuters. A sleek black SUV pulled into the station, its presence commanding attention. The driver stepped out, her boots clicking on the concrete. She was a striking figure in full Army combat uniform, her polished boots gleaming in the sunlight. Her rank badges caught the light, shining proudly on her chest. This was Major General Angela Price, one of the highest-ranking and most decorated officers in the United States Army. Angela moved with a practiced precision, her posture upright, every step exuding confidence. She began refueling her vehicle, her focus calm and steady. But as she went about her business, a patrol car pulled into the station. The casual murmur of the gas station quieted as two white police officers stepped out. Their eyes narrowed as they took in Angela's uniform and the black SUV. Without hesitation, they approached her. The lead officer, a stocky man with a hardened expression, broke the silence. "Ma'am, what are you doing here?" His tone wasn't one of curiosity, it was accusatory. Angela turned to face them, her demeanor composed but her eyes sharp. "I'm refueling my vehicle, officers. Is there a problem?" The second officer crossed his arms, glancing skeptically at her uniform. "This your car?" Angela raised an eyebrow but maintained her composure. "Yes, it is. Is there something specific you'd like to know?" The first officer's gaze lingered on her vehicle before shifting back to her uniform. "Stolen valor, huh?" His words were laced with disdain. Angela didn't flinch. "I'm Major General Angela Price, United States Army," she said, pulling out her military credentials and presenting them calmly. But instead of backing down, the officer sneered. "Fake badges don't impress me," he said dismissively. Before she could respond, they moved in. One officer grabbed her arm while the other twisted it behind her back. The cold steel of handcuffs snapped around her wrists. The gas station fell silent as bystanders watched in disbelief. Angela didn't shout, didn't resist. Even in cuffs, she stood tall. Her silence was deafening, her pride unshaken. Cameras came out, and the scene was recorded from multiple angles. Whispers rippled through the small crowd. A young man muttered, "Do they even know who she is?" With calm precision, Angela turned her head toward the officers. "I would like to make a phone call," she said, her tone unwavering. The officers exchanged a glance, their smirks fading slightly. One reluctantly handed her a phone. Angela dialed quickly, her fingers steady. Minutes later, the faint sound of screeching tires broke the tense silence. A black SUV, identical to hers, pulled into the station at high speed. The vehicle came to a halt, and the doors opened. Out stepped a high-ranking Pentagon official, flanked by military police and FBI agents. The atmosphere shifted instantly. The lead FBI agent, a tall man with a badge prominently displayed, approached with purpose. "This is Major General Angela Price, United States Army, Joint Chiefs Liaison," he declared, his voice cutting through the tension like a knife. The two officers froze, their faces draining of color. Radios crackled with frantic chatter as the gravity of their mistake began to sink in. The handcuffs were removed hastily, but the damage was done. Angela rubbed her wrists, her expression as calm as it had been throughout the ordeal. Internal Affairs arrived moments later, their presence cementing the seriousness of the situation. One officer was suspended on the spot, his badge and gun taken away as the crowd watched. The second officer, panicked, stumbled over his words, trying to explain his actions. "It was a misunderstanding. We didn't know." The Pentagon official silenced him with a glare. "Ignorance is no excuse," he said firmly. Angela stood silently, her gaze unwavering as the scene unfolded. The viral videos, already spreading online, captured every moment, the injustice, the reversal, and the accountability. One by one, the officers' careers unraveled before them, their actions laid bare for the world to judge. Angela turned back to her vehicle, her composure intact. Before stepping inside, she addressed the small crowd that had gathered. Her words were simple but carried weight. "Respect doesn't come from a uniform. It comes from character. Racism has no excuse." With that, she drove away, her dignity untouched and her message clear. "What would you do if you witnessed this?" Share your thoughts below and remember, true strength is silent. True justice is loud.